Let's fucking do this.
Let's go. Yeah. Oh, this is so bitter. This is so bitter, but it is a dark roast. It's a new coffee that we are drinking today. Starbucks French Toast. How do you
Starbucks
like
is
it?
fucking back, baby. If you guys have been watching the podcast, you would know that Starbucks is the coffee that makes us zooted as fuck. And so we always go back to Starbucks. And they were hiding this in Costco for some reason. We saw it all the way at the top, but they were not
Yeah.
putting it on display. It was like all the way at the top. Farhan noticed it.
Yeah. And then luckily the next time that we went there, they put it on sale and we got this bad baby.
It's actually tasting pretty damn good. I'm a big fan of this guy, and I'm zooted as fuck right now. This is my fourth shot today. Woke up 6 fucking a.m. because I was editing some of the VFX shots for the daily vlog, which are gonna be fantastic. I hope you guys are watching those on the channel as well. But without further ado, Farhad, today is episode number 8, and we want to say welcome to every single one of you motherfuckers who are joining us today. It's a very special day today. Farhad, are you ready? How you feeling right now?
I can't believe we are at episode 8. It feels so long since the previous episode, and also it feels like, oh my god, we have done 8 episodes. That means we have been doing this for 2 months now.
Oh shit.
Yes.
When you put it that way, that's kind of freaking, it's like scary a little bit. But at the same time, I'm just proud of us and everyone who's been watching. We just want to say thank you if you've been watching some of the episodes or all of them. Whether it's on YouTube, whether you're listening to the audio, because
We put it on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts. It's everywhere now. You can't miss it.
Yeah, so we just want to say thank you so much. We have so many things planned out. We have so many guests planned out. Farhad is like low-key the manager of this podcast, so he's like planning out guests like back to back. We have how many we have planned for the next?
We have 4 more guests planned, and you know every time I send a DM to anybody, I get super excited. I was like, "Do you want to join our podcast?" I say yes, and they say yes. I'm like, yes.
And like these people are the people who we look up to, who we follow on socials, either in the 3D space, in the VFX, CGI, AR, AI, VR, tech, artistry, just anyone who we are madly in love with, just their content, the stuff that they put out. We want to bring them on. We want to talk to them about their story. And so we also want to ask you guys, if there's anyone that you guys have in mind that you want to see on this podcast, let us know, because they're only a DM away.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I can send a DM, and I can confidently say I can convince them to join our podcast.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
think
go.
I think you're pretty good at that. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna jump into the hot part of the day. The part where we're most excited about. I've been waiting for this podcast episode for a week now, and like Farhad said, it's feeling like it's been a year. For some reason, this 7 days between the podcast feels so long, but we're finally here. And the guest today is not just a designer, a model, an actor, AR creator, producer, and artist, but above all, he is our first guest who has managed to challenge Farhad's hair in its majesticness. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hari Tahov.
Hey,
What's up?
Harry, how's it going?
Hi guys.
So you gotta talk to me about that hair, because if you haven't noticed, the past few posts we put out, for some reason, I'm not getting any fucking attention, by the way. I'm feeling a little bit left out. Farhad's getting so many comments on his hair, and now my concern is this episode, I'm completely out. Because there's gonna be comments about your hair, and no one's gonna fucking look at me today.
I see.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
that.
I've been having hair since I was 13.
Oh wow, that's great. But that looks really, really beautiful.
Yeah, what color is your hair right now?
So it's teal. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, is it blue? Is it green?" No, but there's more spectrums, you know.
Wow.
That's the beauty of it, right? And how often do you color your hair?
Yeah.
Because every single time I'm looking at your Instagram, I'm seeing a different color.
Yeah, well, so the first time I did it like deep teal, then I switched to like an extreme teal, then I bleached it and become more like light teal, and now it's like extreme light teal.
Wow.
I'm changing it because I don't know, I'm having fun with life. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I think he's doing absolutely
That's
right.
the right way to do
Farhad,
it.
when is it gonna be your
I'm gonna
turn?
send a DM to Harry after this podcast, get some advice, and see what I can do with my own hair.
If you were to choose a hair color, what would you go for?
I need his advice on that. It's my first time. I've never done it before, so I need to get his advice. I'm gonna send you a DM after this podcast.
You know, I've been burnt before, Harry. I dyed my hair one time, and that motherfucker bleach it out so many times for so long, and that one session that he burnt my hair, and I've been having nightmares ever since. I haven't touched, any dyes ever since, so I'm scared to even go back in, but I would love to do it again.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Just do it yourself at home. You know what you're doing at home, you know.
We have seen on your Instagram that your birthday's coming up, so we just want to say happy birthday from the Bad Decisions side to you.
Thank you.
No worries. Do you have anything planned for your birthday?
Not at all. No, I'm just waiting to see. I know I'm meeting a few friends to make a cake, but other than that, I don't know.
Well, you see how it goes, right? I think some of the best birthdays
Yeah.
are the spontaneous ones, so you just have to wait and see what
The
happens.
spontaneous, yeah. But since last year, my friends invited me to Coachella.
Oh, wow.
And then from Coachella, a friend there invited me to Neon Carnival. And in Neon Carnival, I got more invites and friends.
Oh,
so
wow, that's crazy.
life is spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds. You know what, Farad is? He just told me actually last week he wanted to try to go to Coachella.
Yeah, but I love the lineup for this year, man. And I've never been there. I heard it's crazy. I really, really want to go there. Maybe next year. Maybe we'll do it
I
next
think
year.
so. I think we can plan it out.
It's so much walking, though. It's tiring.
I think that's what happens though,
Yeah.
right? When you go to a music festival, I think that's what happens. But I mean, if you really love the music, the walking's worth it, in my opinion.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Harry,
It's fun.
we saw as well on your Instagram that you're working on something new, a new film that I believe you're producing and directing, which is Spit. Can you tell us a bit more about it? Because we see the images online. It's really cool, but we want to find out more. And I think for everybody watching as well, in case they don't know about it, maybe you want to tell them a little bit?
Yeah, so after graduating from fashion school, I went to film school, and in film school, that was my senior thesis basically. 2019, we started pre-producing it, pre-production, and then we filmed it in October of 2019 on Halloween month,
Yeah.
It's kind of like the movie Spit is about this artist who doesn't know himself, and then he finds himself, but the way he finds himself is very like mind-blowing, and it has a lot of value in that way he finds himself. COVID made everything stop,
Yeah.
right? And then I didn't know what to do with the film, and there was no point of doing anything because everything stopped. And so now the film, I've been submitting it to agencies and to production companies, and still haven't heard anything. But I made an April 1st joke, which said that Paramount will make a feature out of it.
Yeah, you
Oh,
made me fall for
And-
that.
And that post alone took me 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because I had to make a separate account which said Paramount Studio, whatever there. And people believed in the end. It was great first April joke, and it was nice,
Yeah, you got me as well. I was like,
Because it's in reality, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I kind of like show that it's possible through like a lie on an April 1st, and it's cool. Yeah.
You know, we hope that by doing that, you actually manifest it and actually make it happen.
Exactly.
Because that's a possibility, like you said.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been aiming for, and exactly what I told everyone in the end on April 2nd. I was like, guys, this is not real. Yeah.
I'm sure it's something that can happen, and especially speaking of film,
Definitely.
it-
It's easy.
Exactly. It's always what happens. Like when it comes to film, like you never know what's going to work. People always have expectations from like bigger studios or bigger films, but then you see a movie like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which you just saw, edited by just a couple of people, just coming out and winning so many awards. So when it comes to film, you can never really say what's going to work, what's not going to work. As long as you believe in the idea and you believe you've put enough energy and effort into it and you believe it's really creative, I think there's definitely a lot of potential for it. So we wish you luck with that, and I cannot wait to see it. Do you know when
Thank you.
there's a possibility?
In the end, it's the feeling we want to give to the people that they cannot even like fathom. Like, it's the feelings that drive me to even do film and be in this industry, in the entertainment industry, like giving people a feeling.
That's a,
Yeah.
It's an expression, right? It's a form of expression. Film
Yeah.
is an art, and that's a form of expression. And that's for you to be able to
Yeah.
express yourself. And honestly, we can't wait to see it. So whenever you do release it, if you do know the date, let us know. But whenever you decide to release it, and whenever that becomes possible, we would love to see it. And I think love to have the audience, whoever's watching today's episode, also be interested to see it. But just going back to your beginnings, from what you've written, in articles, in socials about yourself, you moved to LA in 2015 to pursue fashion. You created your own online shop when you went back to Bulgaria, and then you decided to instead enroll in film school in LA. You won 2 awards in the Fashion Week. You graduated film school, and then when COVID happened, you started playing around with augmented reality, and now very recently we see you delve a lot into artificial intelligence and AI art. Loads of things over there. What is actually keeping you busy now? Is it Spit, or is there any other projects that you're working on? What's the most interesting thing in your plate right now?
You're right. Everything you said. In 2023 now, I took another path in my life where, yes, I can do so many things, but I don't want to help myself because I don't know how long I'll be on this earth, right? I have a lot of friends that died and that got me depressed, and now I'm mostly focused on creating things
Yeah.
that will last and things that will give people, um, it's like I'm creating, for example, the books I'm creating, they're giving people, a vision to what architecture can be, how can it be different and better, and how we can incorporate that and maybe stop things that are bothering our world right now, like floods. Like we can be building better buildings for that, like weather, different for different weather. Like things are changing, and we're not changing. And I grew up seeing buildings that are like from, ancient times, and now I think we have better technology and we can build things that can last. And I just want to also introduce that idea with my books, with my architecture, AI architecture, and yeah.
that's fascinating.
um,
But the books,
that
for those who doesn't know, is it the books that you wrote about artificial intelligence, text to image generation? And I think there are 3 editions of those books available for people, right?
Yes.
Very impressive. And you use
And
OpenAI
there are
Dalle.
3 different editions too. Each one is quite different from the other. The first one has just the 25 main buildings that I think would influence the future. And the second book has more like California style industrial buildings that could be built better. And the third one is more mystical and whimsical and things that could be used in video games and in the film industry.
That's very impressive. I personally got to find you with your work in the augmented reality space. I think you have created, I would say, hundreds of AR experiences, and you have worked with brands. I really want to pick your brain.
Oh,
Yeah. Because I've seen your Instagram. I really want to pick your brain on the concept of AR. And since you have created so many AR filters, what is your biggest thing that you learned when creating all this? And I think most of them were like personal expressions. There were face filters. What is your biggest takeaway with all of these AR filters?
So, first of all, I started doing filters because I'm a filmmaker and I want to like make my film better, like give my film things that After Effects could give it. Or, because we would be using After Effects or Photoshop or anything else, but we're not using filters to improve our filmmaking or our the way we interact with social media or creating video. And so that's why I started creating a lot of LUTs in the beginning and different characters we can interact with, or things for your face that you can look different. And I think that can influence filmmaking a lot. exactly why I created it.
How do you think it actually influences filmmaking? Have you actually used it yourself in any of your projects, or do you see it's going
Yeah,
to affect and impact
yeah.
filmmaking? Can you give us some examples? I'm actually very curious.
Yeah, I have a UFO filter, which is without any color, right? It's just transparent UFO and an alien. And back in the day, I had an idea for a film like that for an UFO, and I was just pitching it to people, and I also entered a hackathon with that. But I guess it's my ideas that are cool. Like my work in AR might not be the best. Like I know basic things and how to create 3D and connect code, but there's better people that I really look up to that I feel like they're much better than me, even though I'm really good at it. But yeah,
But
I
you are someone
uh,
that like created so many AR filters. If someone comes without any experience and want to learn AR and augmented reality, what is your advice to someone who wants to start AR as a career? Like how do they should start? Did you do it like did you self learn everything or how did you start actually?
personally, I had a vision for the filters I wanted to create, and when you have the idea, it's really easy to go on Google and be like, "Oh, I want to create this or that." And if you can't find it, you go on the platform where it's the creative platform, Spark AR or Lens List or Effects House, and you can actually read. There's a lot of intro videos and things that help you, that guide you. But in the end, you're the creative mind, and you are the one who manipulates the image and how you want it to be.
That
So
that that
yeah.
makes perfect sense. I've seen your filters and I've seen your experiences. They are very different to one each other. So I'm really curious about how do you get inspiration from all these filters? Where is the source? Is it related to life event? Is it about a film that you're gonna make? If you want to come
It's
up,
so
yeah,
random.
because
Yeah,
I've
because
seen
It's
and you
super
have so
random.
many of them, right? That's why I think I agree with Farhad's question. How the fuck do you get these ideas?
With different things, there's different ways I get ideas. For example, in the beginning with the LUTs, it was mostly like seeing movies and being like, oh, this movie has such a cool LUT. I want to create that. Or being inspired from different music videos. And they had different LUTs, right? So I was like, oh, I need those LUTs. Yeah.
how about the face? So these are the
And
lots. How about when you came and started creating face filter and face expressions?
so the face filters, there's some whimsical ones and there's some creative ones and there's some inspired by characters. The ones inspired by characters are doing very well with statistically. Um, but I mainly do it for myself, for the characters. Like I like anime, and I create a lot of anime filters. Like you can see, I have Spirited Away, the one with the mask, the monster,
Yes.
that eats
Yeah, all the
everything
gold.
in the show.
All the gold.
Yeah, and I created a filter like that, and it was so awesome to see it for myself. Like, that's what I love. I do filters for myself and filters for other people that they were like, hey, can you create this filter? So I'm like, cool, yeah, I can do that. And sometimes I would create a filter that's totally random, that I'm just playing with it. And one filter that I played with was Shades of Cool.
Okay.
Literally so random. I was just like, oh, this, so like put this like that and that and that, and then put some LUTs like that. And I was like, in the end, just normal filter, right? But it got like billions of
Wow.
impressions. I was like, damn, from something just like playing around and just uploading it for the fuck of it.
And you could have even
And
decided not to upload it because you couldn't care less.
exactly. So then after that went viral, I was like, okay, now I just need to upload all kinds of ideas that just come to my mind, no matter what. But they always have to be simple, because if I upload something complex, nobody cares. Nobody
No one's
sees
gonna,
it.
and
Then
some
I'm
people
like,
might not even be able to
I feel
use it.
hurt.
Yeah.
I feel hurt. And that's why I don't want to feel myself like, I don't want to feel hurt myself. And that's why I want to like produce things that really people care about and that I can actually give value to this world instead of just creating something complex. And then
Okay.
you're like, oh, that's just something super cool.
Yeah, no,
I
no.
created that.
I
But in the end, people don't care.
Yeah.
I just wanna do it for the people.
I have actually a lot of questions that's popped up based on the things you just said. So first of all, I do agree with you, and I think me and Farad have talked about this so much, and I think this is gonna bring so much value for any artist out there, any kind of artist. I realized, Farhad's realized, and I think you just mentioned the same thing. Putting and trying out as many things as possible is the best fucking way to move forward. When you try to look and try to be picky about, oh, I think this is gonna work or I think this is gonna work, the problem with that is you're gonna spend so long making decisions. And I heard this quote and I told Farhad about it, that indecision is a decision. So the fact that you don't make a decision and you take like a day or 2 days is already making a decision to not fucking make a decision, if that makes sense. So just go
Yep.
and try as many fucking things as you can. If you have 3 ideas, one anime, one Marvel, one DC, instead of picking which one's gonna do better in any form of
Yeah.
art, do all 3 and spend all of that time to make decisions instead on the actual filter, on the art, on whatever you're creating.
And let the market decide which one they like more, and you would never know. Sometimes you think that, oh, nobody will like this. This is so simple, but that one will get the most amount of traction. I think you
We have
gave
the
it-
example
Yeah.
right here.
And yeah, I just, and I know other creators that have super cool complex filters that still get a lot of views, but it's never sure that you will get that attention.
Yeah.
Could be years after. I got one of my filters just got a lot of hits, but it's like it's not much and it's still like what, but one new filter I have, I created with Dalle, like
I don't know if
a
I've
filter
seen
with
it.
Dalle.
Is
Like
it
I told Dalle to create me a theater with aliens.
okay?
Oh.
How did it turn out?
And I created an alien cinema. Dude, like already like more than 100 reels created with it, and I posted it 2 weeks ago.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, and something super simple. I just like half the screen is like a theater and the half is you, and you just like as if you're like in front of aliens.
Wow, you brought a perfect.
And I just feel like super simple ideas can just create people, can make people create even more, because we're doing this for the people. We're doing this so people can create their own experience out of it. That experience we create for them. Yeah.
No, that's 100%. You brought up a topic that I really we want to really touch on: using AI in your
Actually,
workflow.
sorry, Farad, I have to one
Is it
second.
the anime question?
Yeah, no. Well, now that you said anime, I have 2 questions before we get into AI. I'm sorry, these are very important. Okay, first of all, the anime, I want to. No,
when you said anime, I knew that Farah is going to be like, which
I'm
anime?
gonna fucking light up because I gotta ask, what's your favorite fucking anime?
Okay, so maybe Naruto.
Okay.
But because I grew up with it
Right.
and I finished it and I rewatched it and I
Oh,
loved
Oh
it.
God.
Okay, a question.
And it has a lot of like wisdom in
Life
As you
lessons.
can
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Okay,
Life
I
lessons.
never watched anime. If you want to give one anime for a noob like me to start watching as my first anime, which anime would that be?
Death Note.
Not you, Harry.
Depending what art style you like watching, because there's a lot of good animes, but what you like, particularly what you like to see, is up to you.
That makes
Right?
sense. That makes sense.
And so, what stories you relate to, or what art style you relate to. So I cannot just tell you, because I've watched many. I've been into anime since I was a teenager, maybe. I've been watching anime every day for 13 years.
Wow, I feel so left out of this
Yeah,
whole
man,
anime
I've been
scene.
trying to get him to watch anime. So I'm a big anime guy, but I haven't had much time. I only got into it a couple of years ago. I was a big anime hater at first. I was always judging anime because I used to be a gamer, and as a gamer, I like 60 FPS. I like high quality graphics. And when you look at some of the anime, especially the older ones, you don't get that. But I never appreciated that that's the style of the majority of animes. And also the story and the characters just outright beat Western cartoons. I also have a tattoo right here, my only tattoo, which says Tatakae. For anyone that doesn't know, it means to keep fighting, to keep going, and that's from Attack on Titan, my favorite anime. So big anime guy right here. Trying to get him to watch. We don't know what to
Definitely gonna
start with
start.
yet, but we're gonna start with something. And Harry, I'm gonna text you right away when we find out what's that first anime. I was thinking of One Piece because I haven't watched that, but there's so many fucking episodes. I don't know.
Maybe Fairy Tail,
Fairy Tail? I have not watched that. Is that
because
good?
there's not that many seasons,
Okay.
and it's up to the point.
Okay. We'll try it out. I mean, there's so many options, so many good options. So we have like a list preparation. So we do a daily vlog, by the way, just to let you know. And one of our daily vlogs that is coming up this week is going to be about us picking an anime for Farhad to watch. So it's gonna be an interesting one, and I'll let you know what we pick. But it's gonna be amazing. One more question before we get into AI. You mentioned something that is, I would say, a big issue when it comes to the life of an artist, and I want to touch on that because I have that issue. I'm sure Farhad has that issue, and I'm sure you had it because you mentioned it. You mentioned something about spending a lot of time on creating complex filters, and that could also play into your film Spit, or it could play into the book that you created. When you work on something for such a long time that you genuinely believe in, and then it goes out and it doesn't do well. So you mentioned about hurting. How do you deal with that feeling? How do you deal with the fact that you spend so long on something that you genuinely believed in and it doesn't do well versus something that you spend literally 2 hours on an AR experience and it does like billion impressions? How do you deal with that sort of feeling as an artist?
It's really tough because for a while I stopped working. For a while I think that people do not appreciate me, and then I start analyzing myself and everything, and I switch to another thing. For example, if a filter is not working well, but in the end, that feeling I put it into creating better work. I and in the end, I take that feeling of rejection to work more on myself and more on the filters that actually work. Yeah.
I like
I
that.
love
I like that. So you fuel.
Or sometimes I do like filters for friends, like people that I've met in the real world that it really inspire me. I do them for free and I post them to my page because like there was these twins that have tattoos, and their tattoos inspired me. And I created tattoos because their tattoos inspired
Oh
me.
wow.
Like filter with tattoos. And that filter did super well, and I really love them as friends, and so that's why I created it.
I think
Things like that,
that's
you
I
know?
think that's pretty valid. So you use the failure as fuel for your next project, and usually your next project is something that truly inspires you, something that is
Yeah.
from a friend or from a family or from someone on the social space that inspires you. I love that answer. Farhad, I'm gonna let you take
Yeah,
it to AI. Sorry, I had to ask that question.
No worries. Because when Harry said he used OpenAI Dalle to create an image, and then he used that image in an AR filter, I saw that AI is in his workflow, and I love when people using AI in different domains. And I know you've been into film industry, fashion, AR. So I want to know how AI played a role in any of these creations that you have. You mentioned about AR, but have what else of tool you use in different domains? For example, have you used it for your film or only you're using it for AR? What sort of usages of AI do you have during your day?
So Dalle, they gave me access pretty early before everyone
Oh,
else.
nice.
Because I tried to keep up with all the information, and I I connected them, and they gave me like when it was in beta when you could create like six at once. Now you can create what, maybe four maybe?
Oh,
Yeah, and back in the days you create six at once and you can have infinite creations. Now you have to pay for it. But um I started creating everything in the beginning. Um like everything that I could imagine. And then I was thinking like how can I incorporate this infinite imagery creating technology into what I'm already doing? And so I started creating different outfits for myself for Instagram and different settings because, in film there's like wardrobe, there's settings, there's also hair and makeup and all these things you can create with Dali. And I was like, whoa, this raised up my game now quite a lot. Because back in the days, you need to go scouting for places to take photos. Then you need to like scout for makeup artists, and you need to scout for your clothes. You need to go and buy clothes. Dude, this takes all of that a week for one photo. Now I can create one photo like that every single day. And for my Instagram went really well. And for filming also, like creating film settings, like inspiration for film, different shots, how to create shot lists, how to do marketing, different marketing materials for film, like my Spit material, how I created the illustration, and you see like there's infinite ways you can use it. So therefore I was like, I need to make a book. And I made a book for the film industry people because I have a lot of friends that are in the film industry here in LA, and that book is helpful because I put everything I've learned in the past 2 years from using Dalle, and I described each position in the production realm for film and even after film, the marketing and the distribution and everything else. Like, it's it's a great tool for visualizations and elements and effects.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm really fascinated by your point of view. Hearing this from an artist himself is great that he uses AI for as a source of inspiration. I mean, because I've seen a lot of negative comments that people, don't like it. People think it kills creativity. Hearing from you that, you're using it for different things, like from settings, makeup, clothing design. That's really fascinating. That's really great.
And I just want to add on to that I genuinely don't believe a lot of the people in the film space or in the fashion space have already even started using these artificial intelligence technologies. Like the fact that
Oh, they have.
they have?
They have.
Okay, can you
Yeah,
like
I can tell you if you want.
yeah,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
do.
You know James Cameron?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went to his, the Avatar premiere.
Yeah.
I went to the pre-premiere,
Okay.
like before they even had the premiere, and he was there on a screen, of course, not in person because he had COVID. But he told us that for the illustrations, for Avatar, when they did the Avatar, they use AI
Wow.
to generate different visuals and different promotional materials and stuff. And I was like, what?
Wow. And by that time, you were already using AI, or that was the first time that you heard about AI?
No, that was when I
use-
already used AI,
Okay.
and I've been using it. And I was like, oh my God, he's doing it too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's...
It was so cool.
That's actually no. You're actually right. Now that I think about it, when I went to SIGGRAPH, I remember the directors that were at that event. They did talk about their artists who were using essentially Mid-Journey for Love, Death, Robots, if I'm not mistaken. So if you've seen Love, Death, Robots on Netflix, it's an
Yeah,
amazing
I
series.
love Dead Robots.
It's amazing. So they were just talking about how they've been using Midjourney for just like you mentioned the settings. But to just go back to that point, I genuinely still believe there, even though a lot of people are using it, there's still a lot of people who are not using it. There's a lot of people who are either against AI or they have just not adopted it yet. And
Oh yeah.
what about
like my homegirl? She hates it.
really? Who is that? Your best friend?
My homegirl, yeah, she hates it. Whenever I start talking about it, she just kind of gets uneasy.
Okay. Do you know why?
I do. She always starts talking about how AI is gonna take over one day and how it's so dangerous to play with. And it is. It is. If you understand it, if you know how and what it can do, dude, it's super dangerous.
Okay.
The ChatGPT especially.
Okay.
Faraz has been listening to all these podcasts that Lex Friedman is having with different AI people, and some of them are talking about the consequences. Some of them are pretty scary. Pretty scary.
I love that you brought that up, like both of you. So yes, I've been researching quite a lot, and that's something I wanted to touch on today. And since you brought it up, let's talk about the first thing first. Let's keep it art related. Do you think AI kills creativity? AI art specifically.
It enhances creativity.
Why do you say so?
Because basically, if you want to create something, you first have to imagine it. And if you have another person that could also do that and help, that's a plus. And in the real world, you always have another person that would also help you do that. Like, hey, friend, do you think that's cool? Yeah, I would think that's really dope. And so, you have that AI now. You're like, hey, AI, can you design me like a box of chocolate and make the chocolate be like very like this and that and tell it what to be? And it gives you examples. In the end, you're the person who decides what's the example, not the AI. So you're the artist in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually like the way Harry put it. You're absolutely right. I mean, you are, at least today, when you're using AR art, you are the one making a decision on which one you choose and
You
which
are the
one.
final decision maker, basically. You start the lead. You need to tell him what exactly you want based on the inspiration that you get. You will create an output at the end. So
So I
Also, in the end, the final prompt is not what it is. You have to add something to it. You can also delete stuff and add more to it. So you're the artist. You're like, if because of you, the final image becomes better or worse, or like not every AI image is going to be the same as the other, and not everybody is going to create something great out with AI. Like if you don't know how to use it, you can't do anything good with it.
Do you think though? I'm just trying to play both sides because I'm definitely for AI in terms of what it has done for me personally, but I do see a lot of people's points as well. So I just want to play both sides here. What about the time where people just make a decision prior to before? So if you had to think about your essay that you're gonna write or the photo that you have to create, now they just go to ChatGPT and ask about ideas, and then they go ahead and put those ideas into Midjourney, and so they don't really think about it anymore. So that's like a lot of
It's
people's
scary, yeah.
yeah. That's a lot of people's like comments or concepts of why they think it kills creativity. Do you think that that could potentially be a problem?
In writing, I think it could kill creativity because personally, I would say some things that a lot differently than the AI gives me. Because I would like be more chill in the way I talk. So in the end, if you tell the AI to write it as the person that you are, it will, but it cannot copy your personality. And if you put your personality in your speech, then it cannot copy that. It cannot copy creativity or personality, and you're the person who can input that. So even if you get something out of AI, you always have to change it into your own in the end. Like you cannot just like get something and give it to the people and be like, I did that. No, you have to like, for example, you get like an image or a text prompt, you have to change them. You cannot just give that and be like, I did that. No, that's kind of unethical.
I
And if you do, tell people that the AI created it. That's more ethical too. Yeah.
Yo, no, you're absolutely right. I think especially today, if you are making something great, you do have to go through multiple iterations on your prompt, and the way you put that prompt down based on your own personality, like you mentioned, is what creates the art in the end. And of course, I mean, so far to what we've been using, we always make our own adjustments at the end. We never actually have just that thing. We always have to make our own adjustments towards the end. So in that sense, as of today, I would say I agree with you. I think a lot of the creativity still comes from ourselves, but who knows if that's going to change in the future with everything that's going on. You never know what's going to happen in like a year's fucking time.
So, I mean, since we are talking about this, I'm really curious with all the things that are happening with AI. Are you worried about your position as an artist with everything that is happening?
No, because I'm an artist who knows how to adapt, and that's what every artist should do. Instead of looking at AI as something evil, we should be looking at it as a tool that could even improve our art or like minimize our time. And that's something really important that everybody should acknowledge. And that with every new tool that comes into existence, that's what we've been doing. Computers, they've been hated on because you can write and type faster, but in the end, you're the one who produces the better work with a computer, right? Typing
sure.
it out instead of writing it. So right now we're going through the same thing. why are we generating it instead of thinking it and putting it on a paper or on a computer? Because it's faster, because it saves time, and we live in a fast generation.
What is important, we've discussed this multiple times with Farhad, because we get, we
Yeah,
post a
yeah.
lot of content about this, about artificial intelligence, and I would say the comments are 50-50. Talked about this with our previous guest, Alex Brod, as well. Almost everyone we bring on the podcast, I would say so far is for AI, mainly because all of the artists that we're bringing on, we're all sort of using AI to enhance our work. And the thing is, looking at the comments, clearly the 50% that is against AI is deciding not to use AI because they believe it kills creativity, or they believe it's theft, or based on copyright issues, based on the models they've trained for multitude of reasons. Right or wrong, I'm not the one who's going to judge. This is a much bigger problem than me, you, or Farhad. I think it's a world problem that we have to deal with. But one thing's for sure, and me and Farhad always say this: it's fucking happening. We don't have a fucking choice. Like no one could have stopped the invention of cars than the guy who actually created the car, right? Like no one could stop the invention of the internet, right? So it happened, and the people who learn to adapt, like you mentioned, the people who learn to deal with these situations and quickly pivot and learn to enhance their work are the ones who are going to ultimately succeed, in my opinion. But the only issue or the only challenge this time around, and I know you guys agree with me, is that this time, this change is happening at a much faster rate than any other change that's happened ever before. It's happening within our eyes. Like within weeks, we're seeing new updates, new programs, new softwares. Speaking of which, yesterday, I found out about this super crazy AI technology called Skybox by Blockade Labs. And essentially, it creates HDRIs in under 30 seconds. And for any 3D artist, we all know what HDRI is. It's a 360 image that people previously have to go outside, take multiple exposure levels, spend a good amount of time creating that
Yep.
360 image, and use that to create realistic lighting or a background. And now you can create that in under 30 seconds with just one fucking prompt, and you can make it stylized with Naruto style. You can make it Attack on Titan style. You can make Gotham City, anything in under 30 seconds. So it's crazy how fast these things are moving. Have you seen, by the way, this Skybox that I'm talking about?
No, but now I want to. But is it the one that it's like $600 for the subscription?
Free, absolutely free.
Oh, okay.
There's another question that I want to ask you, and this is more of a fun question just for us. Do you think that Terminator is real and AI could potentially, at the end, kill us all?
Yeah. No, yeah, I've been thinking it every day lately, because of the Matrix.
Yes.
Because then I'm like, we as people, we don't like time. We don't like time. Have that in mind. Then after that, think about how we love memories. We like reliving things. Then think about what would we do for that? We would literally create machines that would make us stay in a REM sleep and relive our memories or relive things that we want. And therefore, that's where the Matrix comes in mind, that this is really possible if we as humans start creating things like that, that it create connected to our mind, technology connected with our mind. So, yeah,
So-
that's the beginning of the Matrix is when we connect ourselves with machinery.
So I think every movie that we watch as kids is potentially a possibility. Terminator, Matrix, all these movies.
Because aliens are real too.
Oh no, that honestly, with all the fucking planets out there, all the stars, all the solar systems, all of those out there, I think it's ignorant to think that they don't exist. And they don't have to be in the shape of the aliens that we think, or the shape of aliens we create filters out of. They can be in any other form, right? It's just that we believe they exist.
Exactly. And I incorporate aliens in every filter because 2017 in September 28th, I saw aliens with my friend on the balcony of my Hollywood apartment. For
Okay,
real.
you said that, you gotta describe that, because like we're not letting that go. Okay, you gotta tell us what happened.
I'll give it to you. Like, there was a feather falling down, and me and my friend are just like sitting there, just talking about film because we're in film class and we're just trying to figure out our film. and the feather falls, and we were just looking at the feather falling, and we look up, and I'm like, whoa, do you see that? And there's like this black thing sitting in the middle of the sky, and clouds are passing, there's airplanes there, and I'm like, what is that? And then he's like looking at it, and then we're like talking about it, and then we look back up, and it's gone from nowhere. Like and not even a minute passed, and it's gone. So I'm like,
How the fuck did that
how
happen?
can something just disappear? And like nothing. The airplane was still there, the clouds were still there. Where was that thing?
How big are we talking?
Looks like an airplane in the sky, but it's like a circle.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, US. I think CIA was announcing last year that they have confirmed.
But it wasn't
seeing-
moving.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
wow.
just like stable, like
It was
static.
just still. It was just still there, and that was the mind-blowing thing.
I have.
But yeah, that's
I-
why I'm creating alien filters, because I believe so much in aliens, and I know that I really want to meet an alien one day. That's my dream.
I don't know.
Real.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean,
Big
you,
dreams.
you never know if they're friendly or not, right? Like, how would you be able to tell if they're friendly?
Oh, I don't care. I don't. That's the thing. I personally just want to meet an alien.
Just
That's my dream.
that's
in a
no.
way.
I hope you do. I mean, your birthday's coming up. You gotta make a wish. You know what kind of wish you should go for, right? So Harry, there's this new thing. So we haven't done this in the past with any of our guests before. Farhad, do you want to take this part? There's this new thing that we want to do at the show, and I think it's gonna be quite interesting. So we're gonna start it with you. So you're gonna be the first person we try this with.
So basically, we put a lot of content on social media, and what happens, we get both positive and negative comments. Sometimes we get some hate comments, especially when we talk about AI. So we are going to read one of those comments to you, and we want to know how would you respond to that comment if they were commented on your work, on your photos.
No, we just no, fuck that. We just want to make it easier for
Yeah.
us, because sometimes you have to reply to them. We want to have our guests reply these comments. So we're putting the burden on you. Farhad, you want to ask the question?
Yeah, so someone commented on under one of our photos, people who use AI will never be artists. What would you tell to that guy if someone comes?
What would
and
your
tell you-
response be? How would you respond to that comment?
I was an artist before using AI. That's my response.
Okay. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
response.
yeah.
I mean, that's true. So you were creating your own art. What if someone wasn't an artist? Let's say they got into art.
Oh, then I think they're just, I don't know. Are they an artist? That's quite hard to understand, though. Wait, that's a hard question. So if people that are not artists and are using art to create art,
Yep, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people, because maybe and you know what's interesting, and I believe especially with the newer generation. Let's say someone's not into art, and then they go on Midjourney or they go on OpenAI Dalle, and then they try putting in prompts. Then they get interested in it. Then they get interested. So are they truly artists, or are they just using AI to create art and they're not the artist?
look, there's two types of people. There's people who use AI to create art, and there's people who use AI to create generations of art. So in the end, they're not artists if they are not creating art out of the AI. But if it looks like an art and it really like you feel something and they know how to use the AI, they could be a digital artist maybe. It's hard to understand, but they could call themselves an AI artist maybe.
Oh yeah, that could
No.
be a category.
I don't know. It's quite hard to understand, and because it's something so new, and we're the people who have to figure it out. Why us, man? Why us?
Yeah, I know. No, honestly, no, because we're like, if you're the one putting out content about AI, you're definitely going to have people comment and ask about these things. That's why we wanted to make it easier for me and Farhad to answer these comments.
Oh, I think I understand now. So
Okay.
if you have been using AI and you have generated like thousands of images and put them out there and you are known for that, you're an artist. But if you're just using it to create art and you're never done art and you're just like putting images and that's not everything you do, then I don't think you're an artist. I think you're just using it to create some images. But
That makes sense. That makes
um,
sense. I think it goes also back to whether are you just using the prompt itself, like the final art, that's it, or no, you combine few of them together, you add your own style
oh,
to
that
it.
too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's really, if someone is just putting a text and getting something out, yeah, I wouldn't call
Are you
that.
trying to fucking express yourself? That's
Yeah.
the question at the end, right? Like if you're trying to truly express an idea through that image that is generated or through whatever that is generated, that video, then I guess you can call yourself an artist. But
Yes.
if you're, like you mentioned, if you're just doing it for the sake of, oh, it's cool to type in this prompt, put it out, get views because it's AI, then I guess you could say you're not truly an artist. Even being
It's
an
a very
artist is a
fine line,
vague,
yeah.
it's a vague term. But I think in our definition collectively, we're saying if you're expressing yourself and you care about what you're putting out and there's meaning behind what you're putting out, then you can call yourself an artist. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
We do this. Harry does this. He just mentioned this. Please, if you're an artist, spend your time and your mind power and your energy on just being happy and improving yourself rather than looking for errors in other people's work or why this one is copying this one or this guy's copying that one. Even if someone were to copy everything that I did, all of my art, all my videos, if I am working on improving myself every day, I shouldn't give a fuck because I'm going to be faster than that person. Because I'm going to be improving while they're trying to follow in my footsteps. So I genuinely believe if you put time into your own work,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about anyone copying anybody. And just like Harry said, these are billions of images that have been mixed up to create something unique. You can't even pinpoint someone's specific art unless they ask for that art style, which is tricky. But generally speaking, if you focus on yourself, I think it's a lot easier to move forward with life.
Nicely said.
Yeah. No, I genuinely believe that. And this artificial intelligence conversation honestly can go on for hours. But I think we should always have a cap for it because me and Farah can talk about it for a very long time. But generally speaking, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming on, Harry. You've been amazing. I loved picking your brain, Farhad. I'm sure you agree with me.
100%.
In when it comes to AR, when it comes to AI, when it comes to what you've done with AI in film, in your augmented reality, and I think a lot of people who might have not started using AI can actually take some inspiration and start using that in their work. Do you have anything you want to say to anybody watching right now regarding anything that you do, or any sort of comment, or any sort of feedback, any sort of recommendation that you have to the viewers?
Yeah, just want to tell everyone because I have many friends suffering from that. Just don't overthink things. Just make a list of things you need to do and do it because we have limited time. We live like a 100 years or like
If you're
40,000
lucky.
days of living.
Yeah.
Did you know we live 40,000 days if you live up to 100?
Oh, wow.
And in the end, it's not much time, so make a list of things you want to do in life and um, then make another list of what steps you're going to take to achieve these things. And yeah, and in the end, it's all about the path to what you want. It's not about what you want. It's about living life. Yeah. And if you need any tools, reach out to me. I have tools that I know that it could help you. Yeah.
100%. We put Harry's handle on Instagram, LinkedIn, and everything on the YouTube video description, so people can also reach out to Harry. Thank you so much, Harry, for your time. We really enjoyed this conversation.
Yay.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much too for having me.
Thank you, Harry. Again, we'll love you guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode. We're going to be back again. This week, we've got 2 episodes.
Yes, we're going to have another episode tomorrow.
Yeah, so make sure you guys stay tuned. If you guys haven't had enough, there's going to be more. So stay tuned. We love you guys and see you guys on the next fucking episode.
See you.
Ciao.